Outdoorsmen of Reddit, what is the most terrifying experience you've encountered in the woods? Story 1. I was backpacking with my dog and about 12 miles from the road and trailhead, so pretty far from people, though popular enough that other hikers might be around. We saw no one all day. About 2 a.m., my dog started this really low, deep growl and wakes me up. Turn on my headlamp and see his teeth showing, and he's right on top of me. I hear heavy footsteps. Black bear? A moose? Near the tent. I leash my dog so he doesn't tear through the tent, and the footsteps move further away, but keep circling my tent. All of my food and toiletries are hung in a tree in a bear bag. Nothing in the tent to draw a bear's attention. I clap my hands. Something is still slowly circling. Not something a moose would do. And a bear might if he wanted food. But I've got nothing and a really big dog with me. I decide to step out of the tent with the leash in one hand and bear spray in the other, yelling, "Hey, bear!" The footsteps stop. Dog's nose is in the air telling me to look right, but nothing in my headlamp that I can see. Didn't hear anything run off, but it's quiet. I give it 5 minutes or so, get back in the tent, and it starts up again, slowly circling maybe 50 feet from me. Maybe an hour later, I hear the footsteps wander off into the woods. At dawn, I take the dog and the bear spray and start looking for tracks. I find a clear path in the leaves that had been trampled, but no tracks. The dog's nose is on the ground, and I follow his lead. And we follow the loop around the campsite. We finally see a few human footprint, not shoe tracks. A regular size, not Bigfoot, bare human foot. Plus, yep, a human turd and toilet paper. Some a-hole was wandering around the middle of nowhere near the tent and circling my tent for an hour or more and left a dump for me to find. Story 2. Summer of 2020, I took my kid on a mother-daughter road trip where we were mostly camping for social distance reasons and because it's kind of our thing that nobody else in the family is interested in doing with us. We'd been driving for almost 10 hours at this point and finally managed to find a halfway decent, unoccupied backcountry site about a quarter-mile off the road in a section of Sequoia National Forest, way up near a mountain summit. We were probably only about 2 miles from the nearest ranger station, but a long helicopter away from any medical facility. A little before sunset, I started hearing twigs snapping. Large twigs, more like medium-sized branches, were being stepped on and broken. Then I heard it again from the opposite direction about 10 minutes later. It became pretty clear that something large was circling nearby. So I calmly suggested to my daughter that we go hang out in the tent and listen to our favorite podcast on my phone to get away from the mosquitoes. Actually, to try to give us the impression that there were more adults with us and at least put one barrier between us and whatever was out there. Finally, just before dusk, I heard the movement of something heavy that was definitely located between our tent and our vehicle. So I mustered up the courage to go out with a flashlight and investigate, because that's when I realized I had left our only weapon, a large hunting knife, in the trunk of the car. Freaking cows. Apparently, some local rancher had permission to graze his cattle in that area, and I was a bit surprised, considering our proximity to a patch of critically endangered redwood forest, but that's Central California for you. Story 3. When I was about 15 years old, me and some of my friends decided to go camping at a nearby lake. It was a 3 to 4 hour hike, and the nearest house was maybe 3 hours away. We brought some homemade wine and drank the whole night and ate poorly grilled hot dogs. Life was good. We all shared the tent, so it was crowded as heck in the tent, but we all fell asleep around 2 a.m. At 4, I wake up because I can feel someone running their hand down my forearm. Not that unlikely that someone brushes up against me, since there wasn't any space to move around in the crowded tent, but this is the arm that is facing the tent, so someone touched me from outside the tent. I sit up and get instantly horrified to see that all my friends are sound asleep in the tent with me. I put on my deepest voice and shout, "Whoever the heck you are, you need to leave." And a manly, low voice answers me, "You should pack up your stuff and leave." Not threatening or aggressive, just calmly and in a dead kind of way. By now, all my friends are awake and are just looking at me. No words, just pure horror in their eyes. I say, "Okay, we will go, but you need to leave." "Hurry up." When we get out of the tent, this man, who is freaking huge by the way, has taken the little rowboat that was laying at the bank and gotten into it and is just sitting in the middle of the lake and watching us pack our stuff and trying to get the F away ASAP. We had to walk around the lake at our way back, and he was just sitting there watching us. We never went back. Edit with some context. This was about 17 years ago in a rural Scandinavian country. We have a free to roam law, so we were not trespassing. We knew our way around the small town we grew up. Everybody knows everybody. There have been no people missing and or found dead. Never. There hasn't been a murder in generations. We told our parents, who at first tried to calm us down, and they said that we were probably overreacting. But the way he caressed my arm before he told us to go was not normal. When we told them everything and what he said to us, we were told to never go back. After COVID, we all met up and the subject came up, and we tried to do some digging. There were no houses or cabins anywhere. The lake is way too small to fish in. When he was sitting dead center in his little boat, there was maybe 60 feet to land on all sides. No one has ever seen this man before or after. Ooh, that one gave me the chills. Oh, we're gonna keep going though. Story 4. I have a honey hole about 3 miles deep into the national forest area where I hunt. Usually get dropped off and hike in for a weekend. Hogs, white-tailed deer, black bears, panthers are all in the area. I've grown up around it. There isn't much I haven't seen out there. Last November, I make the trek back in there and set up my hammock and get ready to camp out for the night so I can hunt from sunup to sundown. I laid down and maybe 10 minutes later hear the most blood-curdling scream not far off. Bobcats, foxes, and limpkins can all sound like screaming, but this was different. There was something about it that just didn't feel right. I sat up and grabbed my binoculars and started scanning the edge of the swamp. Caught a glimpse of what looked like the shape of a woman running full speed away from something 200 yards out. Now, mind you, I'm a good few hours' walk from a paved road. Hell, even the surface dirt road is maybe a little over a mile behind me, and she's going in the clear opposite direction. Only thing out there is woods and eventually the river. Put down the binoculars and grabbed my rifle so I could use the scope if she was being chased by a bear or a panther. Didn't see a dang thing. Absolutely nothing. Brush it off as something my mind made up. The sun was setting, so I decided to get some rest. Went to sleep clutching my rifle a little tighter than usual. Woke up the next morning and decided to go check the spot where I thought I saw her running. Found smallish, barefoot footprints in the mud. Packed my stuff up quick, fast, and in a hurry. Haven't been back since. Story 5. I am a trail guide and backpacker. Years and miles, seen lots of stuff. I can't explain everything I've seen in the wild, but I can tell you this. You will see things out there that defy explanation, and you'll spend the rest of your life wondering about them. If you ever take word of caution, take this like your life depends on it. Don't go into the wild alone. Don't stray from your camp at night. Don't answer or seek out anything that calls you mysteriously in the night. Do not believe everything you see with your own eyes. I need to repeat that. Like your life depends on it. Do not believe things, especially out of place people, voices, or suspicious things that you see, even with your own eyes, especially when your gut and instincts are warning you. There's something out there, something that scares grown men, even like me. Something we won't talk about, but it's real, has no consistent form, and it lures you. If you are a wild thing and a hunter of human beings, there's no better hunting ground than our busiest national and state parks. Note, I said busiest. If you are a hunter of opportunity, then there's no better prey than the young, the weak, the old, the alone. There's something out there, so old, so skilled, so clever and cunning, not just being a species, that has or have developed a specialized survival skill, luring and preying on lost or solitary humans. Can a predator in the natural world lure, trap, summon, or even hypnotize their prey? A quick Google search should yield you hundreds of examples of such species in the animal, fish, bird, and insect kingdoms. What I submit, if exists such a species, old as man, whose successes depend on the successful hunting of humans, not only would it be very clever and good at it by now, but we'd have no record or memory of it in our history, just as no insect has probably ever survived an encounter with a trapdoor spider. I submit their hunting approach is case by case. They lure different depending on their human prey's age, strength, and size. But what I submit is that our oldest natural predator, an undiscovered predator, is still operating due to its skill of being able to read us like a book. Hit us with a lure, the lure I've distinctively recognized several times, particularly at night, just beyond the glow of the campfire. Lead us into a trap to never be seen or heard from again. People, I submit a thing exists, something's out there, a species that's not too unlike Stephen King's It. I've felt the lure, tasted it, smelled it. It's the smell of food when you're hungry, company when you're lonely, music where there should be none, beauty where there's danger. Nothing can explain the sensations, but deep down, you'll feel it in your gut. Something's not right. Something's waiting. Something's watching. Ask any man who survived long enough in the wild. There's a siren-like hunter out there. It'll own you dead to rights if you don't listen to your gut. Having said that, I have questions. These stairs, do they move? They're 1 minute, gone the next? Do others always see them? Or are they visible only to targets? Do they see stairs? Or for them, are the stairs another lure, like an apple pie, a warm bed, or something to surrender to? What I'm getting at is these stairs definitely sound like the work of the It. A cave or door might be scary to enter, but stairs, a perfect lure for the search and rescue mindset. Perhaps the vision of stairs are perfectly tailored to what's on your frame of mind. If only I could find some higher ground to spot that lost kid. If only I had a ladder or a... You see what I mean? Alright, guys. I was going to keep going, but I'm thoroughly scared now. Holy talkie mushrooms. I'm going to link that thread below. Please check it out. It has some amazing stories in there. make sure you give everyone those kudos. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. Please like, comment, subscribe. I will literally squee. Like, really, I do. Oh, also, I mean it. Let's play games together. Feel free to either leave a comment or message me on Insta, and we can be pew pew buddies. But on that note, I hope you have a really good day today. You deserve it.